Life after 60, a time of freedom and rebirth. Life after 60 feels like stepping into a new chapter, one where the rules change and the pressures of earlier years begin to melt away. For many of us, this is a time to reflect, reset, and reclaim what truly matters. It's not about slowing down, but about letting go of expectations, fears, and unnecessary burdens, and stepping into a version of life that is more authentic, joyful, and free. Imagine waking up one day and realizing you no longer have to worry about what others think, who you need to please, or what arbitrary goals you must chase. That freedom, it's priceless. If you've ever felt like the weight of the world was finally lifting, this video is for you. We'll explore 9 transformative things that many of us stop doing after 60, each one a step toward greater happiness, peace, and self-fulfillment. If you enjoy this video, like it and comment with a loving number 2. If it's not quite what you hoped, drop a heart and comment number 7 so we can improve next time. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel after 7080 for more life-changing content designed just for you. Your support keeps us inspired to create. Let's dive in and rediscover what it means to live fully. What would you let go of to feel lighter and freer? Share your thoughts in the comments. We're listening. Stop worrying about what others think. One of the greatest gifts of turning 60 is the liberation from caring about what others think. For decades, many of us lived under the invisible pressure to fit in, choosing outfits to impress, biting our tongues to avoid judgment, and striving to meet expectations that never truly reflected who we are. But after 60, something shifts. It's as if a light bulb goes off, and we realize most people aren't paying as much attention to us as we once thought. They're busy with their own lives, their own insecurities, and their own struggles, and suddenly we're free. Imagine walking into your favorite cafe in Seattle wearing your coziest sweater instead of worrying about looking fashionable. Or speaking your mind at a family gathering in Dallas without that lingering fear of judgment. These moments of authenticity are small but profound. They remind us that our worth isn't tied to external validation. It comes from within. Letting go of this burden allows us to live with more confidence and joy. We start dressing for comfort, not conformity. We laugh louder, speak honestly, and embrace our quirks unapologetically. This shift isn't about becoming indifferent. It's about choosing to live for ourselves rather than the approval of others. How would your life change if you stopped worrying about others' opinions? Tell us in the comments. What's one thing you'd do differently starting today? Your journey inspires us all. Let go of toxic people. As we age, we begin to see relationships with greater clarity. By 60, many of us have learned the hard truth. Not everyone deserves a seat at our table. Toxic relationships, whether it's with a critical family member, a manipulative friend, or a demanding co-worker, drain our energy and rob us of joy. In earlier years, we might have tolerated these behaviors out of obligation or fear of conflict. But after 60, a powerful realization sets in. Life is too short to waste on negativity. Picture this. Instead of spending another exhausting afternoon with someone who constantly complains or undermines you, you choose peace. Perhaps it's a quiet walk along the coastline in Maine or an afternoon tending to your garden in California. The time and energy once spent on toxic people are now invested in things that truly nourish your soul. Letting go doesn't mean we're cold, hearted, or dismissive. It means setting boundaries to protect our well-being. It's about surrounding ourselves with people who uplift, support, and genuinely care for us. And while walking away from toxic relationships can be challenging, it creates space for deeper, more meaningful connections. What relationships in your life bring you peace, and which ones feel like a storm? Share your experiences in the comments. How have you learned to set boundaries, and what impact has it had on your happiness? Let's inspire one another to prioritize our emotional health. Stop having unrealistic expectations of others. In our younger years, it's easy to expect too much from the people around us. We imagine our partners should instinctively understand our needs, our friends should always show up when we call, and our family should perfectly fulfill the roles we assign to them. These expectations, while natural, often lead to disappointment, frustration, and even resentment when reality doesn't align with the ideal. By 60, many of us come to a liberating conclusion. No one is perfect, not our loved ones, and not ourselves. Instead of holding on to rigid expectations, we begin to embrace the beauty of imperfection. Picture sharing a meal with your grandkids in your cozy Denver home. The table might be messy, the conversation may veer off course, and the food might not turn out as planned, but the laughter, the love, and the connection are what truly matter. This shift allows us to appreciate people for who they are, rather than focusing on who we wish they'd be. Letting go of unrealistic expectations opens the door to more authentic and compassionate relationships. We learn to value small gestures, a thoughtful phone call, a kind word, or a shared memory, over grandiose displays. In turn, this perspective makes us more forgiving, more patient, and more at peace with the ebb and flow of human connection. What's one expectation you've let go of that brought you peace? Share your story in the comments. How has it changed the way you view your relationships? Your insights might just inspire someone else to find joy in imperfection. Stop setting complex goals. In the rush of earlier decades, life often felt like a never-ending race toward the next big achievement. Whether it was climbing the career ladder, buying the perfect home, or reaching financial milestones, our days were filled with plans, deadlines, and a constant push for more. But after 60, something magical happens. The pressure to chase complex, long-term goals begins to fade, and we start focusing on what truly matters, living well in the moment. Imagine waking up in a small cottage in Vermont with no agenda other than enjoying your morning coffee while watching the sunrise. There's no rush, no grand to-do list, just the quiet satisfaction of being present. This shift doesn't mean giving up on ambition. It means redefining success. Instead of pursuing goals that require years of planning and stress, we turn to simpler, more meaningful pursuits. Learning a new craft, taking daily walks through a local park, or reconnecting with old friends. By focusing on smaller, immediate goals, we open ourselves to the joy of everyday victories, planting a garden and watching it grow, completing a jigsaw puzzle with your grandchildren, or finally reading that book you've been meaning to pick up for years. These moments of achievement are just as rewarding, if not more so, than the grand goals of the past. What small goal could bring more joy to your daily life? Share it in the comments. Whether it's something you've already accomplished or a dream you're just beginning, your story could inspire someone else to find fulfillment in life's simpler pleasures. Stop trying to keep busy just for the sake of it. For much of our lives, we equate busyness with productivity. We pack our schedules with meetings, errands, social obligations, and endless to-do lists, believing that staying constantly occupied is a sign of success or purpose. But after 60, a profound shift occurs. We begin to realize that life isn't about how much we do. It's about how meaningful those moments are. Imagine spending a quiet morning in Savannah, Georgia, sipping tea on your porch as the world slowly wakes up. There's no rush to tackle a list of chores or commitments. Instead, you find joy in the stillness, appreciating the chirping of birds and the gentle rustling of leaves, in the breeze. This is the essence of living intentionally, not cramming every moment with activity, but savoring the ones that truly matter. Letting go of the need to stay busy doesn't mean giving up on being productive or engaged. It means being more intentional with how we spend our time. Instead of rushing from one thing to the next, we choose to prioritize activities that bring joy and fulfillment. whether that's cooking a favorite recipe, taking a leisurely walk, or simply sitting quietly and reflecting on the beauty of life. When was the last time you allowed yourself to truly slow down? Share your favorite ways to unwind in the comments. Your ideas might inspire someone else to find peace in a simpler, more mindful way of living. Stop engaging in unnecessary debates. There was a time when debates felt like a necessary part of life. A way to prove a point, stand our ground, or simply show we were right. From political arguments at dinner parties to heated discussions over life choices, we invested so much energy in trying to convince others of our perspective. But after 60, we come to understand a powerful truth. Not every argument is worth having, and not every debate leads to understanding. Imagine sitting on the porch of your home in Charleston, South Carolina, sharing a quiet evening with friends. A conversation about politics begins to heat up, but instead of diving in, you smile and shift the focus to something lighter. A shared memory, a funny story, or a moment of gratitude. The atmosphere softens, and what could have become a stressful debate turns into an evening filled with laughter and connection. This shift doesn't mean we lose our passion or stop standing up for what's right. It means we learn to choose our battles wisely. We realize that most arguments don't change minds, but they constrain relationships and drain our energy. Instead, we prioritize peace, both within ourselves and with those around us. We focus on fostering understanding, listening more than speaking, and seeking connection rather than division. When was the last time you walked away from a debate and felt better for it? Share your experiences in the comments. How do you decide which conversations are worth having and which are better left alone? Your wisdom could help someone else find peace in letting go. Stop worrying about the long-term future. For much of our lives, we're taught to plan for the future, saving for retirement, mapping out career paths, and preparing for every what-if that might come our way. While planning is important, it often comes with a constant undercurrent of worry. What if something goes wrong? What if we're not prepared enough? By 60, many of us come to realize that excessive worry about the future does nothing but steal the joy of today. Picture yourself standing at the edge of the Grand Canyon, the vastness of nature stretching out before you. In that moment, you're reminded of how small our worries truly are in the grand scheme of things. You take a deep breath, let the concerns about tomorrow drift away, and focus entirely on the beauty of the present moment. This is what life feels like when we stop obsessing over the future. Letting go of constant worry doesn't mean we abandon responsibility. It means we trust ourselves and the path we've walked so far. We've faced challenges before, and we'll handle whatever comes next. Instead of losing sleep over what may or may not happen, we shift our energy to savoring the now. A sunny afternoon, a heartfelt conversation, or a moment of quiet reflection. What's one thing you could stop worrying about today to create more peace in your life? Share it in the comments. Your perspective might inspire someone else to let go and embrace the present with gratitude and joy. Stop feeling obligated to say yes to everything. In our younger years, it often felt like saying yes was the polite thing to do. Whether it was a family gathering, a work event, or a social invitation, we felt obligated to show up, even when our hearts weren't in it. But after 60, we start to understand something profound. Our time and energy are precious, and we don't have to spend them just to please others. Imagine being invited to yet another busy holiday party in Chicago, but instead of forcing yourself to attend, you decide to stay home. Wrapped in a cozy blanket, you spend the evening watching your favorite classic movie or finishing that novel that's been sitting on your nightstand. The guilt you used to feel is replaced by a deep sense of peace, knowing you chose what truly nourished your soul. This isn't about isolating ourselves or turning away from loved ones. It's about being more intentional with our commitments. We realize that the relationships and activities that truly matter are the ones that uplift us, not the ones we feel pressured to maintain. By saying no when needed, we create space for deeper, more meaningful connections and experiences. What's one thing you've recently said no to? And how did it feel? Share your story in the comments. Your journey might inspire someone else to reclaim their time and prioritize what truly brings them joy. Together, let's embrace the freedom of choosing what matters most. Embracing imperfection. Life becomes richer when we let go of the need for perfection. It's not the flawless moments that stay with us, but the messy, authentic ones. The laughter over a burnt dinner, the joy of a slightly off-key song with friends. By accepting imperfections in ourselves and others, we find peace, gratitude, and connection. Focusing on the present moment. The greatest gift we can give ourselves is to live fully in the moment. Whether it's a quiet walk, a heartfelt conversation, or the warmth of the sun on your face, the present is where true joy resides. Let go of yesterday's regrets and tomorrow's worries. Today is enough. If you found these reflections inspiring, give this video a like. Share it with someone you care about and subscribe to After 7080 for more thoughtful and uplifting content. Your support means the world to us. Stay connected and let's continue this journey together.